Hey, what's up, everybody? Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. Or send me a birthday present supporting if you want, maybe. That's my little shill of the day, PayPal, Patreon, whatever, if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. So this is going to have a very, very long forward today, right? I'm going to talk about how just sort of crazy the video game community is. Not a new topic, pretty obvious, right? But I want to come at it from a little bit of a different perspective. And I'm going to tell one story that I'm not sure if I've actually ever told before, but Anyway, so a very long forward, but roll with me here, right? If we were to stereotype nerds, right, we would stereotype a nerd as someone who is more logical, more rational. I think that's a pretty fair statement for a nerd, right? You think about mathematical problems, problem solving. Your emotions do not get into that, you would think of stereotypically, right? Just like if we were to stereotype, say, a man versus a woman, we would stereotype the woman as potentially being more emotional than the man, right? The man is more generally logical and rational in their thought process, right? Not as many dips and valleys, hills and valleys, if you will. So if we take those two things, right, a more male-oriented hobby like video games, being a nerd, you would think that the video game community would be a more rational and logical sort of, demographic. But often we see that they aren't. Actually, they're pretty fucking crazy, right? And sorry about that phone call for a second. Let's think about something else that can make you irrational and illogical, right? We would think about if you love somebody or something, that can make you irrational or logic or blinded to the truth, so to speak, right? And there's a saying that often, our imagination hurts us more than reality, right? And so we think about how obsessed some people are with video games, right? They basically love it. It clouds their judgment. So we have those three sort of stereotypical things, right? And I think about the sort of bizarre hatred the video game community has for me, completely imaginary. You think about all these years that the community has said weird things about me. Nothing is ever fucking true, right? You know what I mean? Some guy posted I don't know why anyone hates you. And I'm like, the plot twist is they don't either. Nobody does. It's literally just made up. And, you saw that one guy recently. He was telling this fairy tale story of how supposedly he wants people to believe that I used to private message him and I would say slurs to him. He was very ambiguous. He said I would say slurs to him. What they were, who knows? I said a slur to him. Lots of slurs to him, right? I used to do it multiple times. Now, what's worse about this is I actually have no idea who he is, let alone that I would go out of my way to constantly private message him and call him slurs. Now, conveniently, even though I used to do this multiple times, he never saved one message of me messaging him and harassing him and calling him slurs, even though he remembers it to this day. What's even better is he's somebody from the video game community, and he gave a time frame when I was, dying in the hospital, apparently. And he just conveniently did not save messages from all these times it was happening. And if you get what I'm getting at, this guy wants you to believe when I looked at the time frame that he said this was happening. It's dude, that's literally when my doctors were telling me I could die. And I was, thinking about writing my will and all this kind of stuff. And I had no interaction with the video game community whatsoever. I've even said many times before, and you can go look it up, I didn't even know 2018 Dragon Ball FighterZ came out. I had no idea the community still was talking about me this much. I wasn't using things like Reddit, Discord, all these kind of Twitter things. It just wasn't interesting to me. And then I came back, I'm like, holy shit, dudes have been talking about me for years. So the point is, this dude wants you to believe that I had been harassing him for years, sending him private messages, which he never saved one apparently of, but it affected him that badly, but he never saved one, right? And he wants you to believe that even though I have no idea who he is, even though I had no interaction with the video game community whatsoever, his make-believe story is that I was messaging him, even though I had no interaction with the video game community, basically. Very strange, I would say, right? So that would be a illogical, irrational sort of thing, right? And you would think, and you just think about all the lies and everything that the community has made up about me. None of it's ever been true, but you think about it and it's like, wow, some of it is so crazy. You would think, man, for a video game community or someone to be a nerd, a more oriented male hobby, video games being more logical, the video game community is extremely irrational and fucking crazy. Are they not? Do you see the irony there? You know what I mean? People talking about like I fucking hack a hospital, I fake dying, all this kind of crap. You know what I mean? Like the imagination, just this, and there's no reason to even believe anything. You know what I mean? That's the craziest thing. There's no proof, any of this weird shit, things that people have said. I've always showed proof it's the opposite. And even isn't that crazy that so many people that have lied about me have legitimately been caught scamming the community, scamming you, and people still support them, right? Which gets me onto this next topic. You know what I mean? When we love something, when we're in a relationship with someone, we sometimes, we're blinded by the truth, so to speak, right? So we have people that are basically in love with video games. Video games are their only fucking hobby, right? We showed that Alpha 1 thing. That guy always talks about how he hates Alpha 1. The dude has played the game more than I have in like fucking 10 years or some shit. It's ridiculous. Yet he hates the game. I think he loves video games. If you know what I mean, hate something, but still play it, I think it shows you're pretty devoted. You love something, even though you don't want to admit it, right? You're blinded to the truth by your own weird obsession, right? And one of the weird stories I want to tell that I don't know if I've ever told this story. I've told bits and pieces, and I guess, there's that one guy, Matt, I've talked about, right? Huge drug addict, alcoholic, whatever dude, right? And that dude used to live with me, right, for a while, right? And we basically never played games. I would say that we probably, God, when he lived with me, I would be surprised if me and him played video games even 10 times in a year. I don't even know, because I just don't play that many video games, right? I don't even know if I played him 10 times in a video game, right? He might have lived with me longer than a year. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember, but God, sometimes I think that we even played video games 5 times. I'm sure we must have played video games 5 times in a year, but God, I don't even know if it was 10 times, dude, but geez, I don't know. Fuck, I'm not sure. I'm going to go off on a tangent thinking about that, right? But, so anyway, when I had basically cut off ties with him because he was beginning more and more crazy. Like the drugs and the alcohol were basically rotting this guy's brain to the point of, I told that story that he actually showed up on my doorstep one day. And again, I haven't gotten to the part that I don't think I've talked about, but, and he was like, Clayton, I realized you weren't having sex with my girlfriend. I'm sorry. I realized you didn't do any of this stuff, I was just doing a lot of drugs, but can you just tell me, why did you want girls to like me? And I'm like, what? And he's like, why did you tell everybody that I can jump high on a trampoline in middle school? Why would you make girls like me by saying that? And I'm like, first of all, if girls like you by something I said, I think that sounds good. This is the guy that, that we think secretly in the closet guy. But, first of all, I don't know what's bad about making a girl like you. And then second of all, dude, I don't even fucking knew you in middle school, dude. I didn't know you in middle school. What are you talking about? As I'm getting another call, I'm not stopping this video again. And so do you see, I'm like, bro, you are so out of it. I didn't even know you in middle school. What the fuck are you talking about? He's like, oh yeah, I didn't know you in middle school, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so the point is, while this guy was going crazy though, I can tell you, right, that other people in that video game group were supporting him, so to speak, right? I had basically, metaphorically washed my hands with him, gave up on that dude. I'm like, okay, you've gone too crazy, right? You know what I mean? You're a complete fucking Looney Tune, right? Too many years of this shit. There's only the Looney Tune. There's not even the fun version of you anymore. All you do is play video games, get drunk, and do drugs. I just don't care, right? But when this was going on, there were other people in the video game community locally that were actually supporting this guy, right? And I remember I told the story one time, you know, because when he had moved out, he had just randomly moved out one day because he had like a mental breakdown, and he was talking about how he was going to have me killed and all this kind of stuff. And I told the story, I think, where he took 2 beer bottles and came after me. And he was totally brain fucked, right? And I remember an example was there's this other guy in the video game community who is a super huge like beta male, right? Like even me, who I do not consider myself some alpha male dude, this dude was like beta to the core cringy, right? Like I remember he used to have this crush on this girl that had a girlfriend, and he would always post on her Facebook. I would see shit like, "Oh, don't worry. You're such a sweet girl. I heard you had a bad day at work, but I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Just please message me if you need anything." While she had a boyfriend, he was always messaging this like weird shit. And I'm like, dude, she has a boyfriend, dude. And you're just posting on her Facebook like, "Please call me. Please let me know if you need something. I heard you had a bad day at work. Please," like on her. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Point is, the dude was a super big beta male, right? But when this thing was going on with this guy, you know, who's living with me, going crazy, he's going to have me killed, blah, blah, blah. He was actually trying to post and stuff like, he's like, "You know, Clayton, you just don't understand his feelings. You need to understand his feelings, how he feels about you. And you shouldn't like, you know, if he goes around," because I guess he started going around locally and saying weird shit about me. And I was like, dude, none of this happened. He's a drug addict. We already know this, right? He's like, "No, you shouldn't. Don't tell anybody that, you know, he has problems, you know, don't, you know," just super stupid shit. And I was like, you're going to tell me this when you're fucking trying to get the shit you post for girls, right? Anyway, the point is, this guy then went to go live with that guy. And that guy, because all they fucking do is play video games, right? It's fucking ridiculous, right? Well, long story short, that guy ended up getting a girlfriend, and he was a complete fucking crazy Looney Tune, I guess, with him as well. And I guess he was talking about trying to get them killed and maybe pulled out a knife on them. I don't remember. Did he pull out maybe someone remembers the story. He pulled out a knife on them and he broke a chair and went after them or something. And anyway, I guess it was recorded and all this kind of stuff. And he showed the video and he's like, "Dude, you need to leave right now. I'm going to show this video to the police," or some bullshit. And eventually got kicked out. And I remember hearing this story from this guy, and he was telling me, and it was weird. He's like, "Oh yeah, so you know Matt." He's like, "Yeah, so we had a falling out," and he was telling me the story, whatever it was, years ago. And he's like, "Yeah, God, I don't remember. Someone probably remembers the story better than me. Did he pull out a knife too, or did he take a chair and he went after them or something?" And anyway, they said they met somewhere, and he had been recording him every time that he was drunk and fucked up, which shows that he knew. Which shows to me that he knew he was a fuck up. He knew that he was a drug addict and alcoholic, but he had actually been taping him the whole time, recording him in case anything happened, right? And then he showed him the video, and he's like, "Whatever, you know, I'm gonna go to the police unless you do something, right? Like, get out of here, what the fuck, right?" And he was telling me the story, and it was like, wow. And I was like, dude, it's like, you're basic. And the thing is, he didn't want to apologize to me either. He didn't want to apologize to me that he made me seem like I was crazy. When he told me this story, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'd been recording Matt too when Matt was going crazy on me, but I just really, you know, we like video games a lot, so we like playing video games together." And I was just like, wow, you're so obsessed with video games and playing video games with your friend who then tried to kill you and your girlfriend. Kill, right? Who knows if he would have done it? So the thing is, I don't know. The only time I have heard he'd been violent, that he has taken a taser, and he did get a taser, and he did tase multiple people in a drunken rage one time, I've heard. So I don't know if he'd ever actually kill anybody, but I have heard that story. That's a pretty known story. He got a taser, and he was tasing people, I guess, actually, in one of his drunken rages or some shit like that. I think he tased a guy named Craig, right? Does anyone remember? Does anyone know who I'm talking about? Fuck. Anyway. The point is, the guy was in a, let's say, relationship with this guy over a video game because they both love video games so much that, you know, the truth doesn't matter to them. They're obsessed with playing video games and they just want to play video games all day, right? And even though he knew the guy was a huge drug addict and alcoholic, even though that guy is not gay, that guy is not gay to my knowledge. To my knowledge, that guy is not gay. Although the Matt guy, you know, there is the idea that he's actually gay on the down low, and he's been with, you know, people, whatever, blah blah blah. But even though they were not in a sexual on the down low relationship, the fucking obsession and love of video games, what was the truth didn't matter. You know what I mean? And like I said, when that guy did that to me, I think I saw him at, I feel like I saw him at some kind of thing. Maybe it was Yomicon or some shit like that I saw him at. And, you know, I had stopped talking to Matt. He's like, oh, yeah, so Matt, you know, yeah, we don't live together, because you just blah, blah, blah. And I was waiting for the apology, and he didn't want to apologize. Do you get what I'm saying? And it was like, whoa. And I was like, I don't know if you get what I'm getting at. You know, I'm just saying the same. It's like, man, the fact that you knew he was fucked up, that you had been recording him the whole time, just until it got to the point that you couldn't take it anymore, you know? And it's like, you don't want to apologize to Clayton, being like, oh, you're messing me. You need to understand his feelings, see how he feels, blah, 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 blah. Don't you want to play video games with us all day long, blah, blah, blah? No, I don't want to play video games with you guys all day long. Fucking ridiculous. So anyway, I guess what I'm getting at there is video games and the nerd community, who you would think should be very logical, rational people, are very, very illogical and irrational people, right? I mean, look at how many fucking crazy stories do you hear about me? You know, it's like, whoa, you guys are fucking crazy. And how do people actually even believe you? And that's why I always say, I feel like a lot of people, they can't legitimately think this shit is real, right? They can't legitimately think that all this stuff that people say about me is real, because it doesn't even make sense. Especially considering the fact that I've showed so many times that the people making up lies about me are the legitimately evil ones. And so I often have that thought. I'm like, man, are people in the video game community really that illogical, irrational, that much of an idiot, or are they actually downright evil fucking people? Which they could be, right? I mean, I definitely would say that the stuff that people say about me, all that kind of stuff, I mean, for sure there is malice. There is, you know, it's malicious, and there is evil. I think you can say that, you know, for sure. But it's just as like, man, it's like, how much is the evil and how much is the crazy? I guess I'm thinking about, you know, like I said, I just think about some of the weird shit that people say, like that guy. How does anyone believe that when I have almost no contact with the video game community, am private messaging you? I don't even know who you are, just to talk shit to you. No idea who you are. Just like, oh, Clayton's making all these fake accounts to talk to people right now. You can literally tell it's not me. You can literally see one of these motherfuckers is trying to fucking call me on the phone using my fucking picture, dude. Are you serious, dude? Again, sometimes I guess our imagination hurts us more than reality. Clayton must be evil, blah, blah, blah. Even though all the proof shows that all these other guys are, even though it shows that you legitimately are evil. And I think that if you actually believe and go along with the lie, you are evil yourself, to be honest with you. So anyway, I guess this video, a lot of stuff that I've talked about before, but I don't know if I've told that specific story about the Alex and Matt guy before. I've obviously told stories about Matt before and some of the crazy shit he's done, but I don't know if I've told it from that perspective of that guy knew that Matt was a fuck up, but his quotation marks relationship with Matt and the video games were so strong that he just didn't care. It literally only got to the point that the guy tried to, you know, kill him and his girlfriend, I guess, whatever the fuck it was, you know. Who knows how true that is, but, you know, certainly I've seen that the dude can be crazy, you know, so. Anyway, remember if you like the videos, like, sub, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.